If HMRC were to check through your personal or your business finance, would there be a problem? If your answer is I'm not sure, or maybe, then this information is for you. In this episode, I want to talk to you about HMRC's powerful Connect program, the implications of having to deal with HMRC and Connect, and most importantly, I want to talk to you about what you must do to avoid having to deal with them at all. And stick around to the end, because if you don't, then it will probably cost you more money than if you bounce now. Years ago, I was working on a mentoring program, and I had some peer mentors that were young people who were going to help me to motivate their peers. They had been given a responsibility, and we were going away on a residential, and they were supposed to set a good example. I gave them some rules to follow, and when we got to the residential, some of them within a short space of time had broken the rules. I told them what the consequences were going to be, and I was in the middle of dishing out the consequences, and one of them came to me and he spoke to me. And this is what he said, words to these effect. He said, if man was to commit a crime and no one was there to see man committing the crime, does that mean that man actually committed the crime though? The words to that effect. Now, that reminded me of the question, if a tree falls in the forest and nobody is around to hear it, does it make a sound? I get it. Nobody was there to witness the incident. So did it really happen? You do know that the answer to both of those questions is yes, don't you? Which brings me to today's topic. Some people believe that if you don't tell HMRC about all or some of your financial business, then they won't know. That might be the case in years gone by. I'm going to tell you today that if you're thinking that way, you are badly mistaken. I don't normally make videos about tax. The last episode was talking about tax and HMRC. I'm not an expert on this either, but because this is something that is adversely going to affect so many people who are my business niche, I've just felt that I have to make these videos and see where I can help, because I don't think people are realizing what is actually coming down the road in 2026 and beyond. My name is Anthony Charles, and whether you are starting a business or dreaming of leaving that 9 to 5 to make it happen, I'm here to help you to turn your knowledge, your ideas, and your skills into real money by strengthening your mindset, mastering your people skills, and boosting your productivity. So let's talk about HMRC and the Connect program. The Connect program is a powerful data analytics system, and it's used by His Majesty's Revenue and Customs, HMRC, to identify tax evasion and non-compliance. It gathers, it analyzes vast amounts of data from numerous sources to build a detailed financial profile of every UK taxpayer. It's a digital detective. It's using AI to collate and cross-reference the information that you provide or don't provide. I did say to myself, I'm going to be serious in this one. It's going to cross-reference the information that you provide or don't provide on your tax return with the data collected from numerous sources in the UK and internationally. Last year, it was reported that HMRC and Connect hold over 55 billion items of data. Let's talk about some of the sources where this data is going to be coming from. You've got your UK and international banks. So that's transactions, details, your bank account, balances from the UK and anywhere else in the world. That falls under CRS, which is the Common Reporting Standard. And that's a global agreement from 100 countries, including the UK, to share data with each other. That's your bank details and God knows what else. And it's all designed to build an international picture of your finances. The other sources are going to be payment providers like PayPal, SumUp, Square, Stripe. I talked about that in the last episode. Another source of data is going to be government agencies. Data from the land registry, that's your property ownership and transaction. Company's house, that's your business information. Also DWP, which is the Department of Work and Pensions, and DVLA. And they're going to take this information, collate it, and they're going to cross-reference it. In other words, give you an example. If you are dealing with the DWP and you say this is the lifestyle we're living and we need some help, for instance, universal credit or housing benefit or something like that, and then the DVDA flags up that you've bought a new car, or the land registry says that you've bought a property, then you're going to have to answer as to how can you afford to do that when you are reporting this modest lifestyle that you claim you have. And that's going to affect, coming away from my notes for a minute, I just thought about this. It's one thing messing around with HMRC, but if you mess around at HMRC and, for instance, the DWP at the same time, and you get caught out, that's just going to be problems in stereo. Another data source is going to be the publicly available data, such as your social media. They're going to check for your social media, your pictures, your videos, and they're going to build up a picture of you. So those of you who like to show your lifestyle, especially if it's not true, some people pretend to have this lavish lifestyle, you could just attract unwanted attention to you. And let me just talk about how AI works with the videos. And I'm going to give you a small example, nothing to do with business, but just to show you how AI works. When I go to Morrison's, I'll tell you what happened to me. I was scanning I bought 3 pizzas, Dr. Ottokar's pepperoni pizzas. Can I have the sponsorship now, please? I was scanning these pizzas. So what I did, they're all the same pizza. I had 2 in this hand and I had 1 in this hand, but the one in this hand was on my side. So the camera probably couldn't see it. I've scanned I've held the 2 in my hand and I've scanned them both, and I put the third one that was in my other hand straight into my bag. All AI saw was that he scanned something with one hand and that is still in his hand, and he's put something else into his bag. I carried on scanning until I got to the end, and then lo and behold, there is a video of me playing, and it's not letting me pay now. It's flashing the lights and there's a video of me scanning it with one hand, and it's actually pointing to what's happening. Now, I didn't do anything wrong. They were all the same item. So AI is clever, but it's not so clever, but it still inconvenienced me. Remember that point. Another source of data is going to be the online platforms like eBay, Amazon, Etsy, Facebook, TikTok, Airbnb, Just Eat, not only just a restaurant, but the couriers who ride on the pavement with powered bicycles and cheese. And okay. The data they're going to share is your full name, your address, date of birth, national insurance number or your tax identification number, your UTR, which is your unique tax reference, and the total amount that are paid to you or by you via all of these platforms. And that's just for starters. So if you want to find out what kind of penalties you could face if HMRC and Connect come after you, then watch this episode here. In this episode, I want to deal with solutions, and I want to make sure you don't get caught up in their crosshairs. And their focus is currently on small businesses, landlords, consultants, side hustlers, and the hidden economy, what I talked about in the last episode. The reason they're coming after you guys and people like me is because this group accounts for more than 50% of the tax gap. And the tax gap is the amount of revenue and income that the revenue HMRC thinks that they should be bringing in and the amount that they actually bring in. The long and short of it is HMRC is looking for money. Now, look, we've all had hard times. I don't know if you had hard times like me, but there were times where it was so bad I used to dig down into the sofa. You ever get the time where you dig deep down into the sofa, you get right down there where all the hard biscuit crumbs live, and then biscuit crumbs are fighting back, they're digging under your fingernails. You're like, man, but you have to dive back in there because you're hoping against hope that there's going to be some coin of some value down there, the hidden treasure in the sofa. And by the way, you weren't looking for your money, were you, when you were doing that? Because you didn't have any money to drop down there in the first place. You're looking for your friends' money when they came around. You hope they drop something. Oh dear. Look, the government is broke. You are the sofa, and HMRC is coming to dig. They got a single mission: to bring in as much money as possible. And they're going to go after the money from fines for non-compliance. They're going to go after the money by recovering unpaid tax and the fines, of course. And they're going to force you to stop making money on the side and not giving them their cut, or they're just going to force you, because your head can't take it, to return to work under PAYE, where they would love it because that money gets taken at source. They don't have to go chasing after it. If they start investigating you, they're not wondering if something is wrong. They already believe something is wrong. And think back to my pizza example. If they just believe something is wrong and they're looking, then it's going to begin to inconvenience you from that point, and you're going to have to start answering questions. It could start with a brown envelope containing a nudge letter. I'm not talking about nudge, nudge, wink, wink, say no more. No, I'm talking about nudge, nudge, do the right thing, sort things out. And they're going to start to ask you questions, and they're going to request information from you. And the onus is going to be on you to provide the right answers to those questions and to give them the requested information. You effectively are going to be doing their job for them. And depending on how you respond, that will determine what they do next. So start now. Early correction is better than having a full investigation any day of the week. Don't wait for HMRC to reach out to you. Start fixing things now. So let's talk about some solutions. And before we get into solutions, let me just say this. This is not financial or tax advice. This is general information, and I'm sharing with you my own personal experiences. Whatever I say to you on this matter, please seek advice from a professional tax advisor, an accountant, or HMRC. So let me ask you the question again. If HMRC was to look into your personal or your business financial affairs, would there be a problem? And I said there could be two answers, either I'm not sure or maybe. Let's deal with I'm not sure first. I might even fall into that category. Here's what I think. Get your house in order. Start by having a clear separation of your finances. That's going to be something that you need to do. If you're not doing that now, and what I mean by clear separation of finances is make sure you have a separate business account for your business transactions and then your personal transactions. Some people think that if they mix them together, then it's going to be harder to find. Yes, it's going to be harder to find, and you're going to get yourself into more problems. It's easy to open up a current account, or, not a savings account, but the most basic account. You can get one of those. Just separate the finances from now, and then you can talk to an expert who can tell you what to do with the spaghetti that you've done in the past if you've been mixing those finances together. I have been separating my transactions from ever since I could remember. But one of the things I am going to go back to deal with is my Amazon purchases. I have my business card and my personal card on my Amazon account, and every time I have to order something for my business, I always order it using my business account. But one of the things that every now and then I'm looking at a transaction on my bank account, I might be looking back and I think, which Amazon, what did I buy from Amazon? I can't remember. Then I have to cumbersomely go into Amazon and find a date. And every Amazon purchase that you make produces an invoice. So what I'm going to do is, going forward and going backwards, I'm going to go and get all my Amazon invoices. I'm going to put them in a folder with the corresponding year. So if HMRC was to ask me, that's the only thing I can think they can ask me about, what are these Amazon purchases? Because Amazon do get a lot of my money, then I can say to them, this is what it is, and I've got it already sorted out. Check your accounts. If you've got large deposits or large purchases, make sure you understand and you know what they are. If you're looking at your statement and you can see this amount of money and it doesn't make sense to you, you need to solve it, because if it's not making sense to you, it's not going to make sense to them, and then you're just going to get yourself into problems. I'm going to look through my account step by step and make sure if there's any transactions that I have that stand out and I don't know what they are, I'm going to make sure I know what they are. I don't think it's going to be a problem, but I'm going to double check. I'm going to go through all of my expenses. I've always been careful with my expenses. I've always taken advice on what I should put through, but I'm going to double check. I'm just going to make sure that if HMRC turn up, then I am going to be ready for them. Understand tax efficiency. Don't just run for the hills and throw in your side hustle and close down your business. Learn how the system works, because a lot of people don't register with HMRC because they don't want to pay any money, but you may be able to keep more of the money you earn than you think, but you just have to understand how it all works. And that's why I always advocate creating a business plan, because a business is not just about selling items and earning money. If you're in the beginning stages of your business or already growing your business and you want to give yourself the very best chance, then download my 20-point business ready checklist. It's going to give you a clear picture of where you are right now in business, and it's going to tell you exactly what you need to do next, and it's absolutely free. Put yourself in the position that if HMRC and Connect come knocking, that you are ready and you are confident because you are compliant. Okay, I want to deal with the people who said maybe. And the only reason I said maybe is because human beings have a tendency not to like to admit when they have got something wrong. So I'm just going to humor you and say maybe something might be wrong. I'm not here to judge you, but if you know that you've done something that's going to cause you problems, at least you know where to start to fix it. I'm not here to judge anybody. I've come across way too many people that just think that they can start to earn money and not declare it. And I understand why this happens, because that's how the system works. When you think about it, if you start selling on eBay, TikTok, Etsy, or if you start delivering parcels or delivering food, there's not an onus for you to go and register with HMRC. They will just pay you the money. They'll just let you do these transactions, and then you can just earn the money, and then it's your responsibility. And I get it, life is tough. If you're living in the UK, financially it's tough. People want to earn extra money, and they're not setting out to break the law. They're just setting out to make life better for themselves. But you know, they're not taught how to set themselves up legally. So I don't have an opinion on what you're doing or why you're doing it. Just know this, HMRC, they don't care about your circumstances. They don't care about your actions. They don't care if you're ignorant and you didn't know better. I care whether or not the choices that you make are going to cost you extra money more money than you are actually making. If you find out or you know that something is wrong, please start fixing it now. If you're not declaring all of your sales, or if you haven't put your properties on your tax return, if you fail to tell them about overseas assets or income, start fixing it now. You know, you might have to make a voluntary disclosure, and don't just go and phone up HMRC and start blabbering. Seek professional advice. It may cost you some money, but I guarantee you it's going to save you a lot more, and it's going to save you a lot of hassle. A voluntary disclosure with the help of a professional is better than being investigated. The penalties are lower and the process is less stressful. And if you're going to wait for HMRC to reach out to you when you know that there's something wrong, it's just going to be problems for you. It's going to just cost you more money. This isn't the time to panic. It's the time to prepare. And if you're watching this and your time has run out and you've actually got the letter, do your best not to panic. Don't ignore the letter. That is the worst thing that you can possibly do. Don't just call up HMRC and start talking to them, because you could just incriminate yourself further. Call a tax professional or get in contact with us so we can point you in the direction of one. I haven't got one I'm affiliated with. I'm not going to get any kind of kickback by referring you. I just want to help you to make sure you don't get yourself into more trouble. They can help you to assess where you are and how far away you are from being organized and compliant. And they can help you to mitigate the penalties, and they could advise or even advocate for you to make things easier. And if you think or you know that there are discrepancies, then don't wait for the letter, act now. If this episode resonates with you, like, subscribe, share it with somebody who needs to hear this. And in the meantime, of course, come on, keep on being amazing, because you are. And I'll see you in the next episode. Feeling good? Want more results like this? Let's keep that momentum going with this video here. Also, click on my head here to subscribe.